This is everything we're growing this year on half an acre. And the goal isn't just a good harvest. The goal is to not need the grocery store. I've noticed a lot of new faces around here over the last month or so. A lot of you found me through some of the more philosophical videos. The ones about opting out, about the system, about building a different kind of life. Welcome, I'm glad you're here. Today I want to get practical, because you can be frustrated with the world all you want. You can yell at the TV until you're blue in the face, and I get it. I've been there, but that doesn't change anything. The only things that change anything are the things in your control. And planting a garden that feeds your family is one of the most direct and powerful things you can actually do. It's not a hobby, not a trend. It's the most practical form of resistance I know. This is how you become a rebel in 2026. Even if you've never grown a single thing before, it doesn't matter. You just have to start something. That's the whole point of everything we're doing out here. Before I show you what we're growing, I want to show you how the space evolved. Because 6 years ago, none of this existed. We started with a small tilled area and 5 raised beds, 400 square feet. That was it. A year later, I expanded the front lawn and added another 1,000 square feet of growing area. And on the other side of our driveway, we have a full quarter acre that used to be nothing but grass. That became our market garden. I recently made the decision to shut down the market garden, and honestly, it's one of the best decisions I've made. I've never had enough space to grow for market and for ourselves at the same time. This year, every inch of that space goes toward feeding our family. That's always been the real dream. And this is the year we actually go for it. Our tiny house takes up so little space on this half acre that we have more growing room than most people realize is possible on a property this size. To grow a year's worth of food, you need a solid plan and a realistic goal. And that means growing the things you actually eat, not just what looks good in a garden photo. For us, that means potatoes, onions, tomatoes, broccoli, corn, squash, peppers, cucumbers, garlic, carrots, green beans, and enough to feed our animals too, so we're not running to the feed store every few weeks. That's not a small ask on half an acre, but we have a plan. Onions I start from seed every January or February. This year my germination wasn't where I wanted it, so I ordered 150 plant starts from Haas Seeds. And I'll be honest, it felt like cheating at first, but you're still growing the food yourself. The goal is a year's supply of food, and whatever gets us there is going to be the right call. I planted about 200 row feet of red potatoes this year. Last year's harvest was one of our best, and there's nothing quite like pulling potatoes out of the ground. It never gets old. Broccoli has given me trouble in the past. This year, I started them from seed in late February, got them in the ground in late March under row cover. I want a big early summer harvest and enough to store in our freezer. We'll see if this is finally the year it comes together. The front half of this quarter acre plot has potatoes, broccoli, carrots, which I planted early and wasn't sure would germinate, but they came up beautifully, onions, and a row of tomatoes, slicing beefsteak varieties, and Roma. I'm also trying something new this year, Mangel Beets. I got one seed packet of this variety, planted all of them in trays, and had almost 100% germination. I'd never seen anything like it. These things can get massive and were historically used as an animal feed. I want to see just how big they'll get and whether they'll make a good fodder crop for the ducks and chickens once they're cooked. I'll definitely share the results as they grow. The back half of this plot is the chicken garden. Sunflowers, amaranth, and corn for animal feed.
I finally got this whole field planted. You might not be able to see much yet, but in maybe another month or two, it's going to be full of sunflowers and amaranth. It's going to be beautiful.
I also ordered sweet potato slips this year, and then immediately realized I don't have anywhere to put them. So I'm building 2 new raised beds out in front of the barn where they'll get full sun. And honestly, this is one of the easiest builds on the whole property. For a 2-foot by 6-foot raised bed, you need just 2 pieces of 8-foot 2x6 or 2x8 lumber. Make one cut on each board, leaving a 2-foot piece for the ends, and screw them together. That's it. 4 pieces of wood and a drill. I like to burn the wood before assembly. It helps it last longer and gives it a really unique look. I'll fill these new beds with fresh donkey manure compost from a friend, and by the time the slips arrive, everything will be ready to go. And here's a tip that sounds obvious but makes a real difference. The closer your garden is to your front door, the better you will tend to it. The further away it is, the more likely it will get neglected. Every time I've moved a growing space closer to the house, the results have improved. Keep that in mind when you're deciding where to put new beds. This is the 400 square foot garden right in front of our tiny house. We have 12 raised beds here, the design I lay out in my book. This year I dedicated multiple beds specifically to onions because onions need attention, and having them right out front means I'll stay on top of the weeding. Also going in here will be peppers, cucumbers, squash, and watermelons to grow up the trellis in the center. And we have a perennial back row with asparagus, walking onions, strawberries, and Jerusalem artichokes. Right next to this, I have 14 more rows where I'm planting a sweet corn plot just for our family. I've always wanted to do this and never had the space, but here's what makes this one really exciting. This corn planting is the beginning of a multi-year breeding project. My goal is to combine modern sweet corn with heritage varieties grown by Native Americans and a variety from the 1800s that has a long harvest window. Each variety has traits the others are missing. And over the next 5 to 10 years, I want to stabilize something completely new, resilient, beautiful, and unlike anything anyone has grown before, and eventually share it with others. Most of us don't have multiple acres to isolate different corn varieties, so I'm combining them into this one. This year we have a new greenhouse out front. It's cemented into the ground, so it's not going anywhere like our last one did in the first windstorm. We have a solar fan for airflow. There are 2 raised beds inside, both of them 3 by 6 foot, where I'm going to be growing 20 Amish paste tomatoes for canning. I've never grown tomatoes in a greenhouse before. The longer season and the protected environment should give us more production than we've ever seen from a tomato plant in the field. I don't want to buy a single jar of sauce or salsa this year. That's the goal. Peppers have been a struggle. I kept getting poor germination on my poblanos and started to think it was me. But then I replanted a different variety in the same soil and got great germination. So I realized it was the seeds, not me. And that's something worth remembering the next time something doesn't come up for you. Check your seed source before you blame yourself. One more crop in the greenhouse that's new for me this year is Goji berries. A few years ago, I tried to grow these from seed and killed every single one. This year, I bought seeds from Baker Creek, planted them all, and got perfect germination. Goji berries are one of those health foods you almost never find fresh at the store. If you even see them at all, they're usually dehydrated, but they're packed with antioxidants, and honestly, they deserve more attention than they get. What I realized is they'll make a perfect border plant or hedgerow right along the edge of our large garden area where they'll get full sun. They'll be useful and beautiful at the same time. That's the kind of plant that will earn its place here. Directly behind the front garden, I have this chicken tunnel where I planted comfrey, amaranth, sorghum, and Jerusalem artichokes, and they're all starting to come up. The birds are locked out until everything gets more established and big enough to handle them. And the lamb's quarter, a plant I never even seeded, came back all on its own everywhere throughout the tunnel, even after the chickens destroyed this space last year. I did nothing and it showed up anyway. That's the kind of resilience I want in every part of this garden. I'll do a full update when the birds go back in. One more thing worth mentioning, we've been using low tunnels over the raised beds to grow through the winter months here in central Pennsylvania. Zone 6B. Nothing grows much in winter, but the goal is to keep crops alive so they get off to an early start in spring. Spinach and lettuce overwinter well if you get them started early enough in the fall, so the roots are established before the cold hits. We used this Vago raised bed with their frost covering for this, and I have a discount code for this down in the description below if you'd like to try one for yourself. Here's what I want you to take from all of this. You don't need a lot of land to grow a lot of food. We started with 400 square feet. That's it. And we slowly expanded one section at a time over 6 years until it became this. If you haven't started anything yet, now is still the time. If you're in a similar zone to me on the East Coast, Zone 6B or 7A, you can still get potatoes in the ground today and harvest them in just 3 months. Sweet potatoes go in the first week of June. Tomatoes you can start from seed right now or just buy transplants. There's still time. But now is the moment. Don't let this season pass without putting something in the ground. Everything we're growing this year is part of the same mission we've been building toward for 6 years. To grow more, buy less, feed the family, feed the animals, store what we can't eat fresh, and keep shrinking the number of things we need from a store every month. It's a lot for half an acre, but half an acre is a lot more than most people think. If you want to start with just 400 square feet, I wrote the book on exactly that. The link is down in the description. I'll see you guys in the next one.